Hey guys, welcome back. All right, so we are ready for week 5, day 2. Yesterday, I reminded you guys to make sure that you read your text before getting ready for this activity. It's going to be very, very important. So you have two options. You can pause the video here, grab your packet, start reading it independently, or you can pause the video and head over to Miss Rose's YouTube channel, same channel as fourth grade ELA. Just go to her playlist and there will be a video of her doing a read aloud of the text. So you have two options. Either way, if you have not read your text, pause here, go over, watch Miss Rose's video, or just read it to yourself, okay? And let's get started. All right, so here's the text that you guys will be reading. Starts off with the rock cycle. As far as our objective for today you guys are going to read another section from geology, the study of rocks, and we're simply going to answer questions about the text. All right, now you're going to see in just a second, there is, just like we had last week, there is what's called chunked text. So we're going to be looking at very small sections of the text that you just read. There's going to be a text-dependent question, and then when you get ready to answer, your evidence is going to come from that chunked text that you just read. Now, I'm going to go through this very quickly. I'm going to read the small section of the chunked text, read the question, and then we'll quickly answer using evidence. All right, let's go. So the first piece of chunk text says, the earth is constantly changing. Major events such as volcanoes and earthquakes and even erosion may seem random. These changes are all part of a pattern. However, rocks and minerals are created, destroyed, and renewed. Geologists divide the rock cycle into 3 basic stages. Each stage creates a certain kind of rock: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. So the question we want to answer is, what is the rock cycle? And why is the rock cycle important? Once again, what is the rock cycle and why is the rock cycle important? Well, as you see, from what we just read in the chunk text, the rock cycle is the pattern that rocks follow when changing from one type to another: igneous, sedimentary, and metamorphic. That describes the rock cycle, okay? Let's move on to the next section. It says, in certain locations deep inside the earth, temperature and pressure are just right to melt rock into magma. Some magma travels to the surface through volcanoes. After escaping the volcano, the magma cools very quickly. Some magma rises towards the Earth's surface, but cannot escape the crust. This magma cools and hardens anyway. Because it is not exposed to the cool air of the Earth's surface, the process takes thousands of years. Magma might harden quickly or slowly. Either way, hardened magma becomes solid igneous rock. So what are 2 ways that magma can become igneous rock? Well, the first way that we read says that magma can become igneous rock by escaping through volcanoes and cooling on the surface, right? That's the first way. The second way that magma can become igneous says that magma can also become igneous rock by cooling and hardening inside the volcanoes when it isn't able to escape. So basically the same process. It has to cool and then it has to harden. That can happen outside the volcano on Earth's surface, or it can happen inside the volcano. All right, let's move on to the next question. When eroded pieces of rock are moved to a low spot in the earth or ocean, they begin to pile up. Dead plants and animals might also pile up with the soil and rock particles. This layer of materials is called the sediment. As more and more materials pile on, the weight presses the lower layers of sediment into solid rock. The solid rock created in this phase is called sedimentary rock. So why does sedimentary rock often have layers? Well, if you go back into that chunked text, you'll see that it talks about the fact that sedimentary rock often has layers because they're formed when soil and rock particles pile up, as well as dead plants and animals. So all of those soil, rock, dead plants, dead animals, all of those different piles, or excuse me, all of those particles that tend to pile up, they create these layers. So that's the reason why sedimentary rock have layers. All right, let's read our last piece of chunk text. It says, as the sedimentary layers build up, the deepest ones come under intense pressure and heat. This can also happen to igneous rocks deep beneath the Earth's crust. The pressure and heat change the chemical makeup of these rocks. Their minerals are forced to change or morph into other kinds of minerals. As they change in this stage, they turn into metamorphic rocks. Heat and pressure can also change one kind of metamorphic rock into another. How are metamorphic rocks created? They just walked us through that process in the chunk text. So when you go back and you look at those different steps, metamorphic rocks are created when sedimentary or igneous rocks are under intense heat and pressure and are forced to change into other kinds of minerals. So the key words here are heat and pressure. That's the most basic way to describe this process. They have to be under intense heat and intense pressure, and that's when they're going to be forced to change into other kinds of minerals, which means sedimentary and igneous. So metamorphic rocks are created under intense heat and pressure. All right, feel free to drop any questions that you guys have below in the comments. Feel free to send pictures or video of your completed packet for day 2, with the day 2 activity. And I'll see you guys next week for week 6. But tune back in tomorrow. Ms. Johnson's going to be going over the day 3 activity and day 4 on Thursday. All right. See you guys. Have a good week.